The Arizona Cardinals and Tennessee Titans played one of the weirder games that we've seen so far in this early part of the 2025 regular season. We had a interception that got fumbled and then recovered in the end zone by the original interception throwing team. We had a 72-yard touchdown that was reversed because Imari DiMarcado lost the ball, basically fumbled it through the back of the end zone, running in for the touchdown. And all in all, what we're left with is the first win in the Cam Ward era for the Tennessee Titans. There were some, again, weird things going on, but it was a game that Tennessee, they probably shouldn't have won, and Arizona probably shouldn't have lost. But somehow both of those things ended up happening. You have to give some credit to the Tennessee defense, even though they did allow 3 touchdowns on the ground. They got to Kyler Murray a few times. They forced turnovers, even on the turnovers that weren't really necessarily the fault of Arizona's, like DeMarcado's fumble through the back of the end zone. Kyler Murray fumbled on a botched snap around the red zone of Tennessee, and I don't know who really to blame for the fumble and the interception. I think you have to blame Dadrian Taylor Demerson. He's the guy who intercepted it and then fumbled it. But again, you kind of have to give credit to Tyler Lockett and the Tennessee Titans for jumping on the ball, especially in the end zone. That's possibly an easy 14-point swing, and it goes in Tennessee's favor, and they pretty much end up winning the game because of that play. Now, this is also the type of game where you start kind of looking at your coaching staff and the guys on your team a little bit if you're Arizona, because, look, Kyler Murray, if you look at his passing totals, 23 for 31, 220 yards. He had a 54 QB rating. He had a 93.5 passer rating. It's A, nothing great, B, nothing terrible. But he does have the fumble close to the red zone that Tennessee ends up recovering. And the DeMarcado play, as much as you want to blame the player and as much as you want to do, it's DeMarcado's fault. He fumbles this ball. He's showboating before crossing the goal line. But to a certain extent, you want to say, man, like, are we not coaching? Get the ball in the end zone before you want to showboat. I know for a fact many NFL coaches, and it doesn't have to be the head coach. It can be the running back coach. It can be the offensive coordinator. It could be the offensive line coach, for God's sakes, is telling these guys, get in the end zone first. Do not let go of the ball before you cross the plane. Because not only is it embarrassing for the player, it is so embarrassing for the Arizona Cardinals to have to wake up on Monday and realize the reason they lost this game against, if not the worst team in the NFL, probably the second worst team in the NFL. The reason you lost this game is because you somehow fumble the ball trying to go down after you intercept the ball, and because you fumble the ball through the back of the end zone trying to showboat. And it's your third string running back that's doing this. Actually, technically, Michael Carter ended up rushing the ball 18 times yesterday. So DeMarcado, you could probably consider him the fourth string running back. And that's how we're gonna act on our third carry of the game. I know it went 72 yards, but it's like, that's really what we're doing? And so I don't think it falls back on coaching as much as it's going to fall back on DeMarcado, but it's one of those plays where it makes you question, like, Arizona for a while now with Jonathan Gannon. I know he's only been there 3 years, but Kyler Murray's been there close to a decade now, if not longer than a decade. And these things just keep happening. These things keep happening. And these games where they should win against these bad teams, they somehow find a way to lose. And that's just the story we end up walking away from almost every Arizona season is they just found a way to lose it this year. And if you're Tennessee, it really helps your momentum and confidence, I guess, to see an actual number in your win column. They stay away from being that group of winless teams. I think now it's only the Jets, right? Because New Orleans won, Houston won a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I think it's just Tennessee now is the only team without a win, and it makes sense because Cam Ward has been sacked a lot. He's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. They're not running the ball very well. They don't have a true number one receiver, even though Calvin Ridley would probably tell you he's the number one in the league. The defense, they've played great. I think defensively, they have shown that they can cause turnovers. They've shown that they can get after the quarterback. They've shown that they can limit the running game. But it's been too much to have to try to make up for what this offense lacks. And what the offense lacks is just a real ability to get down the field and score points. And even though they put up 22 points in this game, again, 7 of those points came off of a fumble recovery in the end zone on an interception. Another 7 points that they end up not allowing is that fumble through the back of the end zone by DeMarcado. And it's just a weird... Again, it was probably the weirdest game we've seen so far, just from an outcome standpoint, from a what actually happened in this game standpoint, and from a standpoint of this really is, in my opinion, going to derail Arizona's season. They got off to a 2-0 start. They lost 2 straight against 2 good opponents. They lost to San Francisco, and they lost to Seattle in back-to-back weeks. But this loss, especially at home to Tennessee, again, is one that can really derail their season. It's much worse for Arizona that they lost this game than it is good for Tennessee that they won it.